the larger scale picture, you were talking there about people going into business for themselves and thinking they're going to have more time, but actually having less. And that's something I've been really diligent and controlled about over the years, because the tough thing with having your own business is the to-do list never finishes. And if you let your to-do list dictate how much work you're going to do, then you will work every single hour under the sun, at the expense of those things that you've spoken about, at the expense of spending time with your kids or your wife, your partner, at the expense of taking time for yourself to exercise or to pursue your passions. And that's always been something that I was careful to guard against. So, with the exception of that period in the pandemic where it was, emergency situation and we've got to do what's got to be done because our lives are on the line, essentially, or our livelihoods, at least, were on the line. Before that and after that, something I've been much more controlled about, in sort of, saying that this is how many hours I'll work. I'll turn up at this time and I will leave at that time, and I will leave work there. And, I personally, I've always found a mantra that you get as much done in 6 hours as you do in 8. If you come into work for 8 hours, you will just do the work slower. You will find that opportunity to meander through your coffee break. And so I've always given myself 6 hours. So I'll turn up at 9, I'll finish at 3, and that then gives me the time to pursue sport or music, which for me are the things that I'm really passionate about. And I believe that has a really positive knock-on effect on the work that I'm able to do, because I'm fulfilled there and I'm energized by running, by cycling. And, that energy then comes back into the workplace.
I love that. I love what you just said, that you became strict with yourself and set yourself a boundary in terms of time frame. And I think you're absolutely right. Like, if you give someone 24 hours to complete a task, they will do it. Or if you give 3 hours, they will do it. It's all about the mindset, and like allowing or focusing yourself, saying, I only work 6 hours. I only got 6 hours today to fit and do what I want to do. I think straight away what will happen is your creativity will kick in, because you will be thinking, oh my God, I've got so much to do, how I can do it, how I can achieve it, instead of thinking, well, like I'll go and cook dinner and then I still got 3 hours before bedtime and I'll carry on. Your creative faculty switches on. And one of my favorite mantras I install with all my clients is number one, whenever a task lands in your email box, on your list to do, or anywhere, never ever do it yourself. Always ask yourself, who can do it for me? Because you can't, right? The list is endless. You can't do everything. You're not Superman. You're not a superwoman. You can't do everything. So who can do it for me? Like, be smarter, right? Like, be creative. How you can do more with less, how you can fit all of your activities, all of your tasks in 6 hours. That's it. 6 hours to be, and that's it. No more, right? Like I said, be very, very fractionate, because other time needs to be protected for your family, for your hobbies, for well-being. Otherwise, it would never happen, right? We always think, oh yeah, I'll do it tomorrow, or I just get this project done and then I'll do X, Y, and Z. But we all know it's never happens. There is always something, and it's never endless. So I love your, I guess, mindset more than anything, is that you allow yourself just to focus on the 6 hours.
Yeah. Well, I actually wrote myself a contract once.
Oh, come on, tell me more about that. I love that.
Well, yeah, I think it's something that if you're running your own business, you often you've got your employees and you draw up an employment contract for them, and it says how many hours of work they're supposed to do in a week. And so many founders, they are an employee of the business. If you're set up as a limited company, you're an employee, and yet very rarely would a founder bother putting a contract in place with themselves. But I did one. And I put in that contract that each week I had to do 6 hours of exercise, 6 hours of music, and 6 hours of learning as part of my job. And the joke with myself is, you've got the 48-hour European Working Time Directive. You're not allowed to go beyond that. And I didn't sign the escape clause for that. So I said, right, okay, there we go. I am now confined. I will do my sport. I will do the music. I will do the learning, and there will only be 30 hours left after that that I'm allowed to work on the business. So yeah, that was nice for keeping me very confined and really clearly setting up those boundaries that I wasn't allowed to go
Mm.
beyond.
Why have you specifically chosen those categories? You said to work, to exercise, to do hobbies.
Yeah, for me it was sport, music, and learning, and you know, I as much as it's a little bit of a joke having a contract with yourself, I do think that doing those things positively impact the quality of the work that I'm able to do for the business. And certainly things that I would encourage, with employees, I'm always keen to ensure that they've got the time and the space to pursue the things that are important to them as well. Because if they start feeling like work is getting in the way of what really matters to them, yes, okay, you want them to be passionate about your business, but all said and done is never going to be their number one priority, right? So ensuring that work doesn't get in the way of what's really important to them, and that they still have the space to pursue that, they're going to bring their A game to work as a result of that. And I wanted to have the same for myself.